Why 3:57 a.m.? I wake up at this specific time because there are a few crazy individuals who will wake up at 4 a.m., but before that, no one that I know of at least. It just feels like I'm getting a leg up on the competition in a way. But let's jump into the training, which to be honest, isn't always that great this early in the morning, especially for arm day, which for me is one of the hardest days to push myself, at least hard enough to make any kind of real progress. That's why I invented this little rule called lactic acid plus 3. It's a very scientific system that you need someone like Jeff Nipper to explain, but in layman's terms, you lift until you feel the burning sensation of lactic acid, where typically you'd want to quit, and then you do 3 more reps after that. You'll find that this gets pretty close to failure, and you'll definitely see some veins, break a sweat, and you might even mess around and make some gains. Now, I would not recommend this strategy for major movements like squats and deadlifts, as those could be more strategically programmed in my opinion, but if you're like me and you tend to take it easy when you're training smaller muscle groups, or you just need that little extra push, try out this little mind game and see if it helps. Today was just one of those days that kind of kicked my ass. I mean, sales is almost like a drug, you know? There's so many highs and lows, adrenaline rushes, and days like today when everything just seems to hit the fan, and anyone that's ever worked a customer-facing job can relate, it makes it exciting, that's for sure. It was interesting, and luckily, I still have about 5 hours before I have to go to bed, because a smart executive once told me there's 2 days in every day, 2 day and 2 night, and I got a lot of work to do. Alright, so for tonight's quick little dinner, I've got some 90-10 ground beef and then this cauliflower stir fry from Trader Joe's, which is pretty awesome. So this entire plate of food, which is pretty big if you can see it, is only around 400 calories. We've all heard the saying, there's too much on my plate, so I wanted to give my take on this. Here you can see my plate. It's most important to note that the apple is in the center, which resembles what's most important to me. To this, I add other meaningful aspects of life, or food groups for this demonstration. I have a pretty big appetite, both figuratively and metaphorically, so I like to fill my plate as full as possible. I add necessary items like vegetables that might resemble my job, and I add more fun things like cookies, which could be YouTube, hanging out with friends, etc., etc. But the risk here is filling up the plate so full that you start to lose sight of what's really important, aka the apple in my case. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean you need to remove things from your plate necessarily, but it does mean you need to adjust, rearrange, and do a better job of prioritizing. And over time, what you'll find is you can keep adding things to your plate while still ensuring that you give proper attention to your main priorities. We call this capacity. But there is a threshold to everyone's capacity, and inevitably, when you keep trying to pour on more and more, that's when things begin to fall off your plate, which gives you the opportunity to remove those things that aren't as important, realign once again, and start the process over to ultimately satisfy all of your cravings, if you will. If you guys haven't picked up on it yet, Megan's last name is Apple. Oh my gosh, it's just so cute, I know. So, you know, there's a lot going on in my life all the time, but especially right now. Things that I'm really excited to share with you guys as the months move along, but you know, I'm human, I get overwhelmed too, so sometimes I still need to remind myself that if it feels like there's too much on my plate and things are just slipping through the cracks and I'm not able to manage it all, sometimes it just takes some rearranging, some reprioritizing, and getting back to what's most important. So that whole plate thing, that took a lot of time. And speaking of time, I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, which is Movement. Yeah, that one wasn't very slick, but I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying, but you all know that I swear by these movement watches. I wear them every day. As you guys saw in the beginning of the video, I wear them to work. I wear them when I'm out and about. It's a great product at a great price. We've been working together for quite a long while now. They continue to come out with new and improved designs. They just keep getting better and better. So they look just like, you know, $400 or $500 watches, and the average price is right around $95. It's an incredible value, and you guys can save an additional 15%, get free shipping and free returns going to movement.com/Travis. I mean, come on, you cannot tell me that this is not a great looking watch. So check it out in the description box down below. You guys are going to love them. Let me know what you picked up. And you know, I think I'm just gonna take a walk around the domain for a little bit. These headphones, completely dead. They're doing nothing except making some people mad because, I don't know, it's kind of funny to me when I see people get triggered by others wearing AirPods.
I'm gonna skip my breaks, I'm gonna make mistakes.
So it's almost 9 o'clock on Friday night. I am just getting around to having dinner here, and so I needed to catch up on a bunch of food. So what I was craving was a pound of ground turkey. I got a bag of cauliflower rice, some jalapenos, cheese, and some fresh made salsa, which I have been loving lately from Whole Foods. It's amazing. I might even use some of these gluten-free wraps, which are actually pretty delicious. I am just ready to dig in. You already know what's happening for dessert, the poverty brownie. You don't need to see that. We're gonna cut the video off right here. Hopefully it hit home with some of you guys. I think really the point here is a lot of times you can fit more on your plate than you really think you're capable of, and if it's becoming too much, then you could do some adjusting, moving some things around. And everyone tells you that something's gotta give, right? And then some circumstances that is true, but in others you are actually capable of a lot more than you might think of at first. So push yourself and see how that works out for you. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch. You could have been doing anything in the entire world, and you chose to spend a few minutes with me. That is pretty awesome. Please give the video a like if you enjoyed it. I'd really appreciate that, and I look forward to talking to you guys next time.